You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Finance of America Mortgage. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, January 30th show. I am your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, providing information on everything that has to do with your money. Sometimes I have special shows, special guests. For regular listeners, usually I have a conversation with 3 different people in my lineup, but occasionally I have the entire show reserved for one guest, and today is that day. I'm actually going to skip a little money chat today as well because I want to spend as much time with my guest here. Everything we're going to talk about today in the conversation I'm having with Thatch is all about money and finances, because we're in a successful place personally ourselves. We can be successful in everything else that we do in our life. And my guest in studio today is Thach Nguyen, CEO, founder of Thatch Real Estate Group, speaker, author, and co-founder of The Gift, which I'm sure we're going to talk about The Gift today. Live a life by design and financially and personally be successful. That's what today's show's about, and that's what my guest's entire life and everything that he represents and all the millions of people that he inspires all around the country. Great information and definitely a great show today. For more information on the topic that we're discussing today, feel free to call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And let me go ahead and do a little introduction of Thatch. Thatch is CEO again and founder of Thatch Real Estate Group, a Seattle-based real estate company, seasoned investor and developer. Now, during his 25 years in the real estate industry, Thatch and his team have assisted over 1,500 families in creating their American dream. He is also ranked top 1% of the real estate professionals nationwide. As an inspirational leader, Thatch is a sought-after speaker, author, and co-founder of The Gift. Thatch has been featured in Seattle Times, NW Asian Weekly, The Early Show, Puget Sound Business Journal, The International Examiner, and many more, including now my show, The Money Hour. And I've known you, Thatch, for quite a few years, and I follow everything that you do and the people and how by destiny, by design, that you're changing people's lives, not just financially. And I think that's where it starts, Thatch, with you, is helping people get more successful in what they want right now. And everybody that comes to you in the business arena is trying to get successful financially. But ultimately, you're getting to what really is important, and that's financially, personally in their life, correct?
Absolutely. 100%.
And I'm so thrilled to have you here, and that's why the entire show is reserved for you. Cut out the money chat like I do every other week, because I want to spend the entire 52 minutes with you. So, Thatch, just tell me a little bit about who you are and how you've gotten to where you are today as a person and helping so many people.
Yeah. So I was born in Vietnam in 1970. Our family evacuated from Vietnam because the communists invaded South Vietnam in 1970, and my dad worked for the U.S. military at the time. Mm-hmm. And so we got word that the Vietnamese is coming in. And so if you don't leave the country and you are Vietnamese and you work for the U.S. government, then they will kill you or put you in prison for life. Mm-hmm. And so we were fortunate that we get to fly out on the last plane with the U.S. military to America. And, my dad, was very, very lucky because there's a lot of people, a lot of my aunts and cousins and uncles and everybody that's stuck in Vietnam. They still can't leave today.
Yes.
But we landed in San Diego. We were refugees at the shelter in Camp Pendleton. That's what they used to camp all the Vietnamese people. And then we stayed down there for a few months in the camp. And then we got shipped up to Camp Murray in Tacoma for a few months. And then we was blessed to basically been, I guess you can say, sponsored or adopted by a family. His name is Charles Zettler. Him and his mom took us in. We lived in Sumner, Washington, and that was our first experience of America, living with the Zettlers. And my dad had a job as a custodian up in Rainy Valley, and his mom was a big contribution to us. She used to drive my dad into Rainier Valley, 45 minutes in every day. And she'd come back out at 5 o'clock and pick him up. And she would do that every day for like 7 months. And so those are some of the things that Charles and his mom did for our family and took care of us. And then after about 2 years living in Sumner, we found a rental house over in Rainier Valley. Lived there pretty much. That's where I grew up at. And pretty much that's where the beginning of my life started, in Rainier Valley.
And you were what age when you came to?
5 years old.
5 years old.
Yep.
So with a start at 5 years old and such a roller coaster start,
Yes.
there had to be some pretty big lessons that you learned from this experience. And I want to explain this or share with the listener. We all have lessons to learn.
Yeah.
The key is whether you actually engage and take away something from that lesson. The lessons are everywhere. And obvious Thatch and his life and the way he lives, he took those lessons and learned it in the big way and kept compounding through your life. So what were those big lessons?
I would say one of the biggest lessons that myself and as I look out to see a lot of people out there is that, breakdowns and tragedy and adversity, it all come with life.
Yes.
The more successful you are, the more breakdown you will go through.
Of course.
Right? And after many roller coaster of this, I realized today more that as you want to be successful in your business, in making money, in your relationship with your wife and your kids, you have to go through a learning curve or breakdown curve.
Yes.
And today I realized those curves actually help you find clarity how to grow your business.
Yes.
So one of the biggest lessons I learned is that instead of resisting breakdown, we should learn to celebrate breakdown.
Yes. Yes.
And the faster we can celebrate breakdown, the faster we can accelerate to success, because breakdown create clarity create the vision create inspiration, and then you're off and running. The problem is people resist breakdown.
So breakdown is going to break you down, or it's going to bring you up, depending on the experiences you take from that breakdown opportunity. Right. And you said as well, Thatch, that the bigger that breakdown is, the bigger the lesson can be learned, and ultimately, because of the balance, the bigger the opportunity will be. It's just the question whether you're going to embrace it. So, Thatch, I know that you have a word that's very important to you. Can you share that with my listeners and the why behind it?
Yeah. So my number one core value and the word is called contribution.
Okay.
And the why behind that is, again, from many lessons in life. But, I live by this law called the law of contribution. And the law of contribution says that the level of your success and happiness is in direct proportion to the number of people you serve selflessly.
Yes.
And the more selflessly you can contribute, make a difference to other human beings on the planet, the more advocate you will have in your life. And the more advocates you have in your life, and the more raving fans you have in your life, then the more your goals and dreams materialize faster and easier.
Yeah, so taking care of other people's needs and contribution, and then everything comes back to you.
Yes.
So how do you apply this core practice in your real estate profession for all of my business professionals that are listening to the show?
So this is a tip that I teach a lot of business people out there, because all of us are in business, and business at the end of the day is about generating sales.
Yes.
Because you got no sales, you can't pay the bill, you can't do nothing.
Yes.
The question is, how are you approaching people to create the opportunity to make sales?
Okay.
So there's two ways. One, you can approach people from a place of you and your needs, or you can approach someone on how may I serve their needs and what's important to them.
Yes.
And so when I meet with clientele, especially new people, I take the time. The first thing I do is, I actually, when I go into the meeting, I actually put my agenda and what I need in the back trunk of my car.
Yes.
Before I go into a meeting. Because, of course, I know what I need. But the point about if I come from that need first as an agenda, people will actually pick it up.
Yes.
Through your vibration.
Yes.
Okay? And so when I get there, my number one most important thing is try to discover what is that person need? What's their goal? And how can I actually help them with that?
Makes
through
total sense.
Series of just questioning and digging and discovering. And then once I discover what that is, then I will do what it takes to try to help them accomplish that goal or reach that dream and goal for them.
Got it.
And the key is you do that with no agenda. And you do that with real authenticity and realness. And if you do that really, really without no agenda, you're going to make a big difference on this person's life. And when you make that profound difference in their life, they will love you.
Yes.
They would advocate for you. They would cheer for you. They will be your Raven fan for life.
Yes. And that's why, we all know how numbers work and everything. And we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule
Yes.
Later today, which I talk in the book that I wrote as well. And we all know the 80-20 rule. But really, there is also the 1%er, and which you are, the 1%er of whatever you're doing in life, business, family, relationships. And to be that 1%, you have to be authentic in everything that you do.
Yes.
So it takes practice and time
Yes.
to get that sales hat off, because as you said, the people that you're talking with, your potential clients, your potential referral partners, they know where you're coming from.
Right.
And so doing the exercises and being intentional in changing your mindset of what you're doing is important. And that's why I'm just so excited to have you here and for my listeners to be able to be inspired by your message. Now, Thatch, you have a unique approach to building your business that it's departure from the typical high pressure prospecting approach, and which we've talked about a little bit more on that and that technique.
Yes. So, of course, I'm in sales. I'm in real estate. And the key is that the more I can, the more referral I get from people, the more opportunity I have. The question is, how can I go out there in the world and create such a community where people are loving, raving, and contributing to me?
Yes.
And so what I do is everywhere I go, I take the time and I really get to know the person, and I basically do what I call the 4-step gift steps.
Okay.
And so let me just tell the listener what the 4-step is. It's very simple. When you're out there doing business, step 1, when you meet someone, okay, after you put your agenda in the back, okay, step 1 is to connect deeply with someone.
Okay.
And how you connect deep with someone is you get interested in them.
Yes.
That's hard. Sound easy, hard to do.
Yes.
Okay? But get interested in them. The moment you're interested in them, then they get interested in you.
Yes.
Then step 2 is to begin to discover what is it that they're working on. What's important to them. What's their thing that they're looking for right now. And your job is to discover what that is. And then step 3 is contribute to them.
Yes.
To exactly what they want.
Yes.
Not what we think they want.
Yes.
And that's the difference.
Yes.
So if you can really listen, find out what they want, you contribute to that, you just literally just crack the home run. And then step 4 is you just follow up and see how everything went with those, how you helped them.
Yes.
And when you do step 4, people think that you really care. And then step 5 is always, I just call it the bonus step. That's watch the miracle in your life, in your business.
There you go.
If you do those 4 steps, everybody you come in contact with, you're going to build so many advocates, supporters, believe and follow in your corner.
Yes.
Your business will thrive.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I will say, Tina, very few people have a lot of advocates, supporters, believe and follow in their business.
Yes.
They got clients.
Yes.
Clients and advocates, 2 different people.
Totally 2 different people.
Right?
Yes. Yes. So on that note, I'm going to take us to commercial, and I want to start back in when you come back and go a little bit deeper on the 4 steps. Coming up next in the Money Hour, I'm going to continue my conversation right here with Thatch. Do you feel like you're pushing hard but not getting the results out of life? That's why Thatch is here today. Again, CEO and founder of Thatch Real Estate Group, speaker, author, and co-founder of The Gift can help you. Right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here at 1150 AM, KKNW, the Saturday, January 30th show, bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events, everything's happening in our economy, so that you can make the best financial decisions that you can in your life and for your family. Well, it starts with being at the best place that you can for your life so you can be the best for your family. And in that, success, money, finances, all of that will follow. And that's why I'm so excited to dedicate my entire show today here with Thach Nguyen, CEO and founder of Thatch Real Estate Group, speaker, author, and co-founder of The Gift. And Thach, before I took us to break here, we were talking about really your approach on the success of not really just even business in life, but everything in life. But people always seem to be thinking first about business. I need to make money in order to provide for myself and for my family, and then to even think about being able to give back to my community. And you talked about the 4 steps of being able to connect with people. First, when you're introducing or meeting someone for the first time, you want to be connecting truly on a deep level, and then be able to contribute to them. And you talk about, in order to do that, your second step is to discover what they need. And then you talk about contributing, and that's the third step, contributing right there, right now, at that moment, because that's in that, and then the follow-up. But I want to really go back to the contribute, because I think this is the piece. People can understand, I want to connect with somebody at a deep level. I need to find out what's important to them. It's not about me, and it's not about them. And we're talking about your business success, but this relates to everything in your success in life and everything you do. The contribute part, I think that's the part, follow up is a part that people will fail out as well. But the contribute, they'll fail at a lot of the times because not really understanding contributing. What you talk about is not what you're going to do for them after you leave and you walk on to the next person. Right. It's the contribution you're going to provide to them right now at that handshake after you deeply connected, discovered what was important to them, step 2. Can you go on a deeper level for that in the contribute?
Absolutely.
Thatch?
So, as I discover what's important to someone, and the key in this whole thing is you got to listen.
Yes. When
someone says to me that, what I'm working on right now is I'm looking for this job that I'm really, it's aligned with my gift, and my gift is about, detail. My gift is about administration work, right? And my gift is about, I'll give you a real example. I just came to my mind just now. I have this friend of mine named Alex. He works in an IT business, and he emailed me yesterday and said, "Hey, I'm heard that you're expanding your real estate team, and can I be your assistant? 'Cause I know you're looking for one." And I said, "Great. Why don't you send me over your DISC test, right?
Yes, okay.
And let me read it." Yep. And then after I read it, I said, after your DISC test, I'm going to be honest with you. You are wired more for like a buyer agent versus an assistant. Yes. I love to have you as an assistant, but I'm reading your DISC test, and you are all about talking to people and about being part of a team, and you're not wired for the administration side. Yeah. And does that sound true to you? And he said, "You're right." And so I said, if I was you, I really would just gear really toward following your heart, which is your natural gift, which is buyer agent. That's what you're thinking. Yes. And I know you're scared about not getting the paycheck monthly, but you don't have to jump right in, but I just want you to think about it. Yes. And so I'm speaking to what's important to his heart. Yes. I could have sold him to be my assistant. Sure. I could have sold him to be a listing agent. I could have sold him to be a prospector. Yes. But that is what I love to do, is really listen and see what's important to someone, and then really just talk more into what's important to them. Yes. And that to me is contribution. Contribution is more than just writing a check to a charity event. Exactly. And most people don't have money, but you can go around and you can listen to people. And to me, the highest level contribution and the least amount of time and effort and money out of your pocket is listening to someone. Yes. And that's one of the biggest gift contribution you can do for anybody. Yes. But most people don't do that because why? They're too busy, with being in fear or worrying about something else. Exactly. So if you just went out and met anybody out there every day and you just sat and be present and listened to them. Yes. That's the biggest gift you can do to any human being on the planet. Yes. You do that well, they become your advocates. Yes. And your raving fan in your corner. Yep. And when you need something, they got you back. They're going to got you. They have got your back. Well said. Now, you place a high value, Thatch, on showing appreciation to your clients. Yep. Can you talk about that and the impact
that this has on your business.
Absolutely. So one of the things I do for my clients, I have clients, I call them A's and B's and C's,
Yes.
right? And A's are the one who refer me a lot of business, right? And then B is a little bit less and C is a little less.
Yes.
So for example, my top 20, I call my top 20 people.
Okay.
I meet up with them one-on-one, and I find out exactly what they're working on in their life.
Yes.
And then I just basically work on helping them achieve that goal.
Yeah.
And I do that for my top 20.
You act as their coach.
That coach.
That to help them change their life and really make a difference.
And it's beyond real estate for me. It's beyond business.
Of course.
But those 20 people are the one who give me 80% of the business.
Yes. Yeah. So let's skip. I want to skip over there and let's talk about the 80-20 rule because I think it's pretty amazing that we live in 20% of our home and 80% of our efforts go towards 20% of the issues. Or if you can see how to flip this, you can actually get it to work towards your advantage versus not.
Right.
Share the 80-20 rule.
Absolutely. So I talk about my business at the beginning of my career. I've been selling real estate now and investing for like 25 years. When I was new in the business, I used to go door knocking 100 doors a day.
Uh-huh.
And
That's crazy.
Right? And I still do
That's
a lot
hard
of that.
work.
Yeah, hard work. That's hard work.
Hard labor work.
A lot of
yes.
hard labor work. And I was averaging probably 250 doors to basically getting one contract signed.
Yes.
And I was, I'd made good money doing that.
Uh-huh.
But as I began to learn about this contribution and really taking my time and really finding out and discovering what that individual is and really going deep with them.
Yes.
Because going out door knocking 100 doors a day is what I call going wide with your business.
Of course. Yep.
And then taking that one person I meet and getting to know them deeply and find out what's important to them, I call it going deep with them.
Yes. Yep.
And so today, my business is that I got 20 people that probably is, give me probably 70, 80 transactions a year in real estate.
Yeah.
And if you think about it,
That's
if I was
crazy.
doing the old way,
Yes.
for me to get that much business, I would have to talk to thousands and thousands and
Yes.
thousands of people.
Yes.
And so
Which you physically can't do, or you have no money because everybody else you have to pay them to do it
that's
for
right.
you.
And this stuff right here, you can do it and everyone on your team can do it.
Yes.
And you can create massive, massive revenue
Yes.
by coming from this approach. And that's just one approach.
Yes, and that one approach, we're talking it again from the going deep, finding out what's important, contribution, and follow up. So in helping and really going on a deeper level with people and helping what they need in life, and then having that come back and have such a huge success and be able for you to manage your life. I always talk to people about taking control of your life so it doesn't take control of
That's
you.
right.
Take control of your business or your business is going to control you.
That's right.
And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's good. The 80-20 rule is a big thing. You know what I mean? Look to see, where are you spending most of your time and energy? And is that, and what percentage of your business is coming from that?
Yes.
Right? And so when I discover that, I go take 80% of my business and spend it on the 20 people.
Exactly.
And that give me 80% of my business.
Yes.
And so now I'm more efficient and more profitable.
Yeah.
And we should do that with our life,
Yes.
our relationship life,
Yes.
our business life, our fitness,
Yes.
all that. Because, you want to have more time in your life, be more efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is when you walk in the grocery store. You walk in the grocery store and you shop for 80% of your items and 20% of the store.
That's right.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
The 80-20. So get it to work for your benefit and maximize that. So your real estate business,
Yes.
what's happening in your real estate business? There's got to be new and exciting things like there always is.
Of
So
course.
share that with me.
Yes. So, I've been in the business now for 25 years. We help.
I'm 20. I'm almost caught up with you, but I guess I never will be. You're always going to be 5 years ahead of me. It's all good.
Right. And so my residential business, we have helped probably over almost 2,000 family achieve the American dream of home ownership.
Crazy.
And investing and everything.
Yep.
And so this year, I was inspired to build the team out bigger. We're bringing in, right now, new assistant, bringing in new transaction coordinator, bringing in more buyer agent, more listing agents. And we want to, in the next 5 years, I want to help 1,000 family per year
Yeah,
achieve
wow.
the American dream.
And you'll do
that's
it.
really, there's not too many people that have actually done those kind of standards. And so,
Yes.
why am I doing it? It's just, I like to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A Vietnamese kid from a refugee camp coming over here and creating such a high standard for a team that does helping 1,000 family per year.
Yes.
And it's just something big to play. And I just want to create, something big. So when I leave this earth, it can ripple effect and inspire other people to live and dream big.
Well, while you're here too, Thatch, watching your success and all the people that you work with in coaching and speaking to, you need to live it. I mean, so when you're living something that is unattainable, that is not, you can't reach and you can't accomplish that. And when you're able to do that, I mean, how much even more powerful than a difference or a contribution can you make to the people that are already inspired by what you're doing?
That's right.
Thatch, before we go to commercial advice, if I have any listeners out here right now that are thinking of making the change and getting into the real estate industry, what advice would you give them?
I would say, number one, go to Tony Robbins, AnthonyRobbins.com and take what he has a thing called a DISC test, DISC, DISC test.
To see if you're a driver, you're an influencer, you are a steady, or if you are compliant.
That's right. And when you know that, then you can say, what part of the real estate do I want to be in?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a salesperson, you got to be wired to salesperson. If you want to be in administration, you be wired for that.
So tell them a salesperson. What's a salesperson wired to in the DISC profile?
Someone who has a high D followed by a high I.
Or a high I followed by a high D. Because that's
right.
what I am.
That's
I'm a high I followed by a high D.
Right.
Yes.
Definitely. One of those
and you're
two.
a high D followed by a high I.
That's right.
Awesome.
Right. And so once you know you all that, then the most important thing I would say is, go and find a real estate office that really is rocking, teaches real estate, teaches personal growth. And then from there, then make sure you get a coach from day one because it will help your learning curve grow faster. And you will spend less time and spinning the wheel in this business.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Coming up next on the Money Hour, continued conversation here with Thach Nguyen. Would you love for someone to crack the code to show you a proven way to create the results that you want with ease and joy in your life? Thatch does this, does it every day. CEO, founder of Thatch Real Estate Group, speaker, author, and co-founder of The Gift, right here at 1150 AM KKNW.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Well, welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, January 30th show. It's a great day to talk about money. It's a great day to get inspired to learn how to make money. Making money means that you'll have a better life for yourself and, more importantly, for your family and be able to give back to your community. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. You can talk with my guest that I have in studio, special guest Thach Nguyen, by calling into the show, 1-855-400-1150, or going online to themoneyhour.com. Thach, how do my listeners connect with you directly?
Yeah, they can go to Thatch, THACH, realestategroup.com, thatchrealestategroup.com, and they can find my info on that site.
Perfect. Thank you. So let's go ahead and start out and share with my listeners a secret. Everybody loves secrets, and this is a great one because it's a secret to building a bulletproof mindset. And if you have a bulletproof mindset, everything else in life is going to be okay. And what people need to connect to is understanding that a mindset doesn't mean that everything's perfect in life, because it will not be. Everything is balanced in life, which means you're going to have really crappy days. And if you can take advantage of that, followed by just as good as the crappy was.
That's right.
Small will be produced small, big, big. So how do you develop that mindset to connect on a deep level with the universe?
Absolutely. I have a journal process that someone taught me about 15 years ago that I use on a daily morning ritual that I do.
Okay.
That really helped me, what I call pre-pave my day before I walk on it.
Love it.
And so the process...
Prepay your day before you walk on it. Love
right?
it. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a big believer that we are the creator of our own destiny.
Yep.
Whatever you think
That's
about...
why it's called Destiny by Design.
That's why it's called Destiny by Design, one of our courses that we teach. I'm a big believer that there's a universal law out there. It's called Law of Attraction.
Yes.
And Law of Attraction says that you attract into your life whatever you put your focus, energy, and attention to.
Yes.
Like attract like.
Yes.
So if you are thinking about doubt, that expand.
Yes.
If you're thinking about possibility, that expands.
Yes.
The question is, what percentage are we spending, and thinking and feeling about opportunity versus doubt and fear?
Yes.
And here go back to that 80-20 rule.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people I see out there and I talk to, 80% of their energy and focus is on problem, issues, and doubt.
Yes.
And the people who are successful, I notice out there, they spend 80% of their time creating, thinking, analyzing, right? How to build their stuff.
Yes.
And no wonder why they attract people, opportunity in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have this process I use. It's called AID.
Okay.
And the A stand for appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
The I stand for intention. And the D stand for delegation.
Okay.
So what I do, Tina, is every morning before I actually even get in the car and go to work, I sit down and I write down anywhere between 5 and 10 things that I appreciate in my life in the now.
Yes.
And I always tell people appreciation is so different from gratitude because gratitude is something that's already happened in the past.
Yes.
And appreciation is happening in the now.
Yes.
So what can you see right now that you can appreciate in your life? The fact that you're alive. I was driving here and I saw this lady walking across the street and she was walking with a big limp on her leg.
Yeah.
And she had it took her forever to walk across this regular light.
Yes.
And I looked at it and I said to myself, man, I'm so appreciative of my health and my legs because that right there just gave me my appreciation right there in the moment.
Yes.
And so every day I start my mind off and my life just recognizing how good I already have it with writing down appreciation.
Yes.
Then intention is something how I want to feel in the now. Like I wrote this morning today, I'm committed on feeling in the flow. I want to just go with the flow today versus anything that shows up that's not what I expect.
Yes.
I'm just going to roll with it.
Yes.
Versus fighting it.
Yes.
And then delegation is something that I delegate to God, universe, higher power.
Okay.
Things that sometimes we don't have answer to.
Sure.
Or things that we don't have no control to.
Yep.
And so this morning, one of the things I said was, my dad had passed away now 9 years ago. And I talked to my dad and I asked my dad for assistance.
Yes.
And so I said to my dad, hey, Dad, I'm working on this deal up over here on Beacon Hill. It's a piece of property where I'm talking to the owner right now. And I really like to buy that deal. And when we get that deal, we can probably do it about 120 unit efficiency apartments right on Beacon Hill.
Wow.
And can you help me by orchestrating, making sure that all the dots and the T get crossed and the owner love who I am and love what we stand for and the vision, and they going to basically sell us the property. And I'm also open to even having to invest in the property.
Got it.
So that's something I can't control.
Yeah.
But I asked my dad to lay it down for me.
Yes.
So that when I go and meet these people day in, day out for the next, month or so, that all the things that I don't see coming, it's already handled by my dad.
And the delegation, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just taking this from, the delegation process and that exercise part of it. So again, you talk about appreciation, appreciating everything, every moment in your life, and the intention of what you want. And the delegation, this is a way to really talk out loud and talk of what you need and release it.
That's right.
Release and know that there's a source and someone, people, that are helping you accomplish your
Like Tina,
goals.
like for example, you have an assistant, Victoria.
Yes.
Right? You basically delegate to Victoria
Everything.
things that you want her to do. Like for example, on this show, you say, can you email Thatch and make sure he does this, this, and this. Make sure he has the map to come here, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then you let it go and you don't even micromanage
even
that
think
and you're
about
done. Well, Victoria is a great assistant.
Yes.
Higher power is 1,000,000 times more powerful than Victoria.
Yes.
And we don't use that opportunity to our advantage.
Makes sense.
And that's what I want to show people, that that's the law of attraction.
Yes.
If we can just delegate like you delegate to your assistant, for all the people out there listening who has business,
Yeah.
if you can take a look at the universe as your assistant time 1,000,
Yeah.
and if you don't have answer, just delegate. Hey, I call it universal manager also. Hey, universal
Like that.
manager, right? I am right now looking to expand my business. We want to help 1,000 family. Can you show me one of the best way to be able to get more buyer and seller leads?
Yeah. Yeah.
Figure it out and let me know.
Yes. And then when you delegate and delegating to some universe or place that doesn't make mistakes, you have to be willing to accept what comes back to you.
right.
And that's the key in closing it all up, because you may not, and you will not get everything that you delegate and that you ask for. And it doesn't matter.
Right.
You just keep throwing up there everything you want, and the things that are supposed to happen are right for you at that time will.
At that
and
time,
the ones,
that's the key, right?
The ones will not.
Yeah, because the thing that I always tell people, sometimes we think it should be a red box with a blue bowl. But the universe or God, whoever you believe in, they say, right now, Tina, in your life right now, you need a blue bowl with a red box.
Got it.
That work for you better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want a blue box and a blue bow.
Right. So that's one of the things that, and delegation is also almost like praying. Some
Yeah.
people pray. I mean, I know so many business people that make millions and hundreds of $1 millions.
Yeah.
They all do it.
Yes.
They just don't recognize it. They
Yes.
pray, they ask, and they sitting in a dark room. They like, oh man, you know what? Right now, I need to raise $100 million for this project. And where do I start with this thing? Well, that's delegating.
Yes, exactly. Makes total sense.
Okay.
So it's easy to see that, Thatch, not only you are a big thinker, but you're a different thinker, and you're a thinker with passion, and that's what big and different is. It comes from passion. So what big vision and impact do you have to change our world?
My life purpose, what I do for a living is selling real estate.
Yes.
Building real estate, building investment properties, right? Creating passive income, all that. But I think my ultimate life purpose down here on this planet is to inspire and empower billions of people to reach for their dreams and see that anything is possible by me just sharing my life story and my life journey every day.
Yes.
And so by being on the radio today, I'm hoping that people out there listening, they get inspired to go, man, that Vietnamese kid from the refugee can do it. I can do it. And they get up and they go do it.
Yes.
And I just achieved one of my goals again.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
really, it's inspiring power billions of people to reach for their dreams and see that anything is possible.
Yes. And anybody can do that, but they can only do it with their own unique story.
That's
so
right.
it has to start from embracing who you are and what you have to share to the world. And you do that at such a high level, Thatch, and I just appreciate that so much. Destiny by Design, I really want my listeners to be able to connect and understand what Destiny by Design is. Can you share that?
Yeah. So Destiny by Design is a course that myself and a friend of mine and co-host named Stephanie Owens, and we teach people how to live their life by design versus living their life by default like most people. And inside that course, we teach them how to master the 3 steps, the A, the I, and the D.
Okay.
And basically, I have a 4-week webinar class that we teach people so they can get up to speed what that is. And once they graduate from that, then they join into a private inner circle where there is 200, 300, 400 people now all across the world right now. They in there and they write their AID data and they post it on the wall to each other. And then each one of them read it. And then they support each other. They encourage each other. They steal each other's, delegation. They steal each other appreciation. And they help each other manifest big goals, big dreams.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to come back and talk a little bit more about that, but I got to take us to commercial and learn the secret to accomplish your goals, even in difficult times, with greater ease than you ever thought possible. Words right from Thatch and what he can do for you. Coming up next on the Money Hour, right here on 1150 AM at KKNW after this short break.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Well, welcome back to the Money Hour. You're with your host, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM, KKNW, the Saturday, January 30th show. I'm here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week and 1 show at a time. Today, I'm here to help you by sharing my guest in studio to help you build a strong personal blueprint so that you can get to that strong financial blueprint. I'm here with Thach Nguyen, CEO and founder of Thatch Real Estate Group, speaker, author, and co-founder of The Gift. And before I took us to break, Thatch, we were talking about the Destiny by Design and the community, which I am privileged to be a part of that and have gone through the requirements and just watching the posts and listening to people. And, it's kind of hard sometimes to understand how somebody's feeling when they're writing something, but you can actually, I can see people and where they're at when they're writing these posts by the words that they're using, and it's just making a huge impact on people's lives. So explain a little bit more about that process.
Yeah. If you are not spending the time figuring out and creating what you want, then you always are getting the leftover from someone else.
Well said.
Okay?
Yep.
And so what I teach in the class is teach people how to take control of their life and create what they want in their life. Again, if you ain't, then you always get the leftover from someone else.
Yes.
And so unfortunately, there's 80% of the population out there, they are taking what's left over from someone else.
Yes.
And so this is a process that I have learned 15 years ago. I use it in my own life. I use it in my business. I do this how to create all the wealth I have got today.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to teach people. And so this is something that's inspiring to me because this is one of my way how I'm going to touch billions of people.
Yeah. Yes. And it's for you as my listeners, it's our individual choice if we want to be a part of the 80%. Or we want to be a part of the 20%. And it's our choice if we want to be a 1%er that takes that to the level. When you look at the most successful people, they're all doing things very, very different to be very different than everybody else. And if you want to have a easy life, you got to take the hard road.
Absolutely.
And if you want to take the easy road, your life is going to be hard. It's pushing through it and developing the skills needed. Can you give us a story or example, Thatch, of the difference DBD has made in your life and one of your members?
Yeah, I tell you I have a great story, and this is how it all got started. So my older brother, his name is Son, and his wife, Dow, they came to me about 2 years ago, and they was in massive breakdown. They was they owned a restaurant before, and they was in real estate, a little bit selling real estate, and then the market crashed, and they just literally started going downhill, with their business, their financial, and then when I go down, your mental aspect go down, your spiritual aspect go down, and they
health follows sometimes because of the stress,
that, right?
Yep.
And so they was creating so much bad energy around their house that they had a daughter. That all of a sudden, one day, she started forming this thing called tick.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone ever seen tick, but literally, someone just sit there, and all of a sudden, they just go into like a little shock, and then they pass out.
Yeah.
And I have never seen that. And so I spent some time researching and talked to a lot of my different health coach, and found out that tick takes on the kid. Took on stress that create ticks.
Yeah.
And so I interviewed the kid. She mentioned that she's taken on a lot of their mom and dad's stress.
Yeah.
And so I said to my brother and Dow, if you want to change your daughter's life, you got to change you.
Yes. Yep.
And so you got to get your energy right. You got to get your life spinning the other way. Otherwise, you can't help her. It don't matter what you do.
Exactly.
And so I said to them, why don't you guys do this AID process that I use, and let's change your life around.
Yeah.
And so 2 years go by. They've been working on this, right? And last year they also was getting ready to lose their house in foreclosure.
Yeah.
Because the bank would not short sell it. And so they were doing AID process for about a year. They saw us a little bit result. But the end of last year, the bank literally within a week before foreclosure, the bank called and said they short selling the house.
Wow.
And then their daughter went from no tick to less tick. And then at the end of last year, she have not had a tick happen to her since December 1st of last year until now.
That's amazing.
Because these guys are taking control of their life, their energy, their money, their situation. And so my brother Down and my brother Son, they're probably one of the best examples of how they turned their whole life around 360. And today they got their house, they got their family, they got their health going, and more importantly, they're making money again.
Yeah, and here's the positive side of that, and that's what I've try to share all the time with people that have stress. Unless you have a deep amount of stress or a deep amount of failure, you can't make the impact that you can make without that. So imagine now, not only have you helped in that situation, but look where they're going to be able to come from and the example that they're going to be able in the lives that they can change because that they've gone through that. And they've gone through and then they've proven that the techniques that you share work. It's just so powerful how that all comes together.
Yeah.
Now, Thatch, I have a motto.
Yes.
A motto is something that really it is everything that you're about, and an easy way to describe of, we all have, we should have core personal practices and core professional practices. And your motto just is that one thing that is there that brings everything together. Mine is live your dream now. And those of you that didn't know, I wrote a song. I don't sing and I'm not a songwriter, but because of my motto, live your dream now, I wrote a song called Dream. So just look up Dream Tina Mitchell. That's where you share with my listeners your motto.
My motto is dream big and serve unconditionally.
Love it.
Dream big and serve unconditionally.
And doesn't that make total sense? And listening to Thatch and the conversation that I've had with him today and the privilege to share with you, that sums up everything that we're talking about in your motto and what you live by every day in your life and what you share with people every day.
I'm going to give this website so they can go and check out my inspiration Dream Bigs thing. Okay. If they go to Dream Big with Thatch, THACH.
Okay.
DreamBigWithThatch.com /AID. And they can go in there, they can see all the Dream Big video I make about Dream Big, serve unconditionally, and they can see a lot of story of people whose life has changed from just journalizing this AID process.
Yeah, and embrace the AID process. Learning stories and changing your mindset, as you talk about that, it's about listening to other people and being able to connect with them and what they can share. So I thank you for sharing that with my listeners. So if there were one thing that you would want people to take away from our conversation today, Thatch, what would that one thing be?
You are the creator of your destiny. What you think about, you attract. What you feel, you attract. What you put your attention on, you attract. The question is, are you spending time focusing on what you want, or are you spending time in fear and doubt? And either way, you will attract that. And the compound effect and extension to that, what you attract will extend to everybody that cares about you. Absolutely. Extend to your family, to your friends. And as you've talked about with the story in the family, imagine a child that has absolutely no control. And so taking on that burden and stress that you have as parents, of course, it's going to be at a higher level because they're completely out of control. So I want to talk about the gift and the networking that you do around it, because it's pretty powerful. And our local market here is all I can experience because that's where I'm at. And, the buzzword in our local community, especially in the real estate and mortgage space, about the gift, and you have your book, The Gift, beautiful, simple read. And so can you share a little bit about the gift and the networking around that? Yeah. So one of the things I want to teach business people is how to grow their business through contribution. And we host monthly gift networking event in the Seattle market area where people come and we really dive deeply in the importance of the 4th step of the gift. Okay. And then we have them practice on each other in the room. Yes. And the more they practice, like a muscle. Yes. The more they practice getting out of themselves and putting themselves in others and find out what's important to them, then again, they are out creating advocates. The key is the more advocates, believer, and follower that you have in your life, the more money you will make. Yeah. The reason why Oprah Winfrey make a lot of money because she had inspired and empowered billions of people. Yes. And that's why she has billions of followers. And that's why the billion followers buy whatever she recommend. Yes. Or whatever she promote. Yes. And so if you want to make a lot of money, have lots of advocates, support, and believe follow in your corner. Makes sense. And how you do that? You go and give the gift to every person you come in contact with. And I want to give you a visual here without a visual because we're on radio. But
imagine the networking events that you go to, because if you're in business and you're in sales, you go to networking events. And if you're not going to networking events, you're not making any money. I mean, you've got to connect with other industry professionals that can support your business. And we all know how the network events goes. You come there prepared with your 30-second elevator commercial speech, and everybody is going around the room sharing their 30 seconds, and it's about them and what they can do for you.
That's right.
Now, just swap that and imagine if you're at a gift networking event, and it's the same thing. The same thing is we all want to go there and connect with people, connect on a level that we can have them support our business. But when you swap it around and intentionally, it's about an exercise of changing habit from what we're used and taught to do at a networking event, the magic that happens in there, and then the actual follow-up, which never happens over a normal networking event. Who actually follows up after a normal networking event? The industry majority does not. They get trapped back in the daily thing, where you're creating this buzz and this emotion of inspiration. And I thank you for sharing that, because it's just really special. And we've got 2 minutes, Thatch, and I'm going to wrap up the show. So we've talked about a lot of things, because when you're successful in real estate as you are, and you have such a life to give, and your motto, there's a lot of complexity in things. So we're talking about business, we're talking about changing your life, we're talking about the gift and Destiny by Design. Pulling this all together for somebody that is in sales and business, and getting through the daily activities to be successful in business. What are those steps and things that you do on a daily business to be successful?
Number one, I have you want to be successful in business, you got to have a schedule.
Yep.
And the tighter your schedule, the more success you'll be.
Okay.
One of my good friends, his name is Matthew Ferry, I always say, if it isn't in your schedule, you're just hallucinating.
I love that.
Right? So number one, you got to have a schedule.
Okay.
And number two, you got to have structure.
Okay.
If you don't have a structure, you ain't going to be productive. So anyone who's on my team has a schedule, and they have structure.
Okay.
And so once you do that, then if you're in real estate, for example, then I have my team, every morning they have to get on the phone and they have to go and generate and prospect.
Yes.
And when they do that, and then as they're doing all the real estate activity successful, then I continue to help them grow in the personal growth side.
Okay.
The more you can grow your personal growth side, the more your money side will grow more. Okay. Because at so much level, when you make so much money, your personal growth stop growing, your money stop growing too.
Yes.
So I tell everybody, you got to have a schedule, and you got to have structure, and you got to be consistent and persistent in your business. Otherwise, you won't be successful. Okay?
So the 3 S's: schedule,
structure, and consistency.
Well, not 3 S's. Right. I know how to spell really well. And personal, we've talked about business success. Yep. Your tips for personal success, and we'll wrap up our conversation with my listeners today, Thatch.
Don't matter how much money you make, folks. Anything above, 5 million, 20 million, 50 million is just another number. Don't sell out on yourself. Stay to the core. What's important to you? What's important to me is schedule time with my kids to go to the baseball game, soccer game, take them to vacation, and I don't need to hit my $1 billion goal tomorrow. I can take my time and not sell out on my fitness, my life, my wife, my kids. It's not that serious to try to get there that fast, because no one care anyways. Yes. At the end of the day.
Great advice. Okay. Thatch, thank you so much for spending time here, and more importantly, for sharing with my listeners, and for all of you listening out there. I know you took a bit of inspiration for Thatch, but follow through and do the exercise that he shared with you today. This is your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day. After a great day, I will be back same time, same place next Saturday right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great start to the next week.